Crypto markets are once again giving us some confusing movements on the charts. And in today's video, I'm going to tell you about the key level that Bitcoin needs to get above. Crypto needs to get above this level. Otherwise, another crash could be in the works instead of a Santa rally. A lot of people have been kind of looking forward to this December date, saying, man, maybe we're going to get that Santa rally, that late December movement to the upside. But this morning, as we've hit some key resistance, we've once again started to move back down to the downside. And unless the bulls start to make another rally, it could be a long next couple of weeks. Welcome into the show, everybody. This is the Tim Warren Show. It's today's Monday live show. I'll talk more about that here in a little bit. Yes, there's been some movements to the schedule in the last couple of weeks, but we're still bringing you content every single day. We're taking the chaos over in these markets. We're turning that chaos into cash. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure, as always, to smash the like button. And if you have not done so already and you enjoy our content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If this is your first time, welcome. We're going to talk a lot today about Bitcoin, about crypto. We're going to look at some stocks. We're going to look at some metals. And in the video, I'm going to give you a handful of reasons why there's some bearish outlook moving forward, why December of 25 is not going to close on a good note. But there's also a handful of reasons that we are still hopeful. There's still some reasons to be somewhat bullish. And again, I'm not going to give you every key to everything that happens on the markets. Nobody knows 100% what the future holds, but I can tell you what the charts are saying to us today. So stick around all the way until the end for that. We will have some questions towards the end of the show. It is live today. We will have some Q&A, so make sure to be engaging in chat. Let me know your thoughts, your complaints, your concerns, and maybe what are some charts you guys want to take a look at. We'll maybe get a look at those later on in the show. Before we get too far into details, though, I do need to tell you about a message from one of our sponsors, but it's very timely. I want to make sure you guys get advantage of this because there is a special deal going on, and that's with NordVPN. Now, here's the deal with NordVPN. They have this new product called Nord Protect. No longer is NordVPN just about protecting your data, but it's also about insuring your data. There's three big benefits that you can get when you sign up with Nord Protect today. Number one, you can get reimbursed for up to $10,000 when you get hit by phishing attacks or fake crypto scams, fraudulent transfers. That's a big deal. Not just that, up to $1 million of identity theft protection. If your identity is stolen, people use your identity, hack in your computers, get everything going, $1 million protection. This will cover legal fees, lost wages, and the recovery cost to get it back. But not just that, you also will get cyber extortion and ransomware exchange. This is protection up to $50,000 for any extortion incidences. I've heard a lot of stories recently, a lot of people, a lot of scams going on right now in the crypto space. So you need Nord Protect right now. Go check out the link down below. Go sign up today, get a great discount on it, and get protected and insured to guarantee you don't lose a single dime of your crypto or your portfolio. Let's get to the crux of what's going on. Yes, not crux of crypto, our brother channel, a good friend of the show as well. But the crux of what's going on in the markets right now, go ahead and go to my screen here. I last week told you guys on the show, on video, this trend line would be very important. We made a big deal about this back on December 15th when we lost this uptrending of support that we had been in since the lows back here in November of 25. I told you guys that resistance below this trend line is to be expected, and until we get back above it, we are still kind of in the woods here when it comes to bearish movements. I told you that the bullish case is we would stay here above 84.4, and that has happened after kissing that one completely or perfectly right there here the other day after the Japanese news. We've just made our way back up, and people are feeling bullish, but we rejected almost perfectly on that trend line right there. Let's zoom in so you guys can see it just a little bit better. Oop, didn't mean to draw right there. Almost kissed it perfectly right there, getting to 90,500 this morning. For us to be bullish, though, and I'm going to talk about this throughout the show, for us to be bullish and for us to avoid the next crypto crash, we need to get back above this level. And the reality is the next thing we need to do is get above $95,000. I'll explain why here in just a second. But I've been telling you now for the last couple of weeks, I wasn't necessarily convinced that Bitcoin's bottom was in. I wasn't convinced that we were ready to go all out into crypto going back to all-time highs. And I really was rooting against myself. I was hoping that I would be wrong. I was hoping this would be just another thing that I misread and that we'd end up shooting to the upside. But unfortunately, That has not happened. And we didn't even make it up to the resistance I said would be in play here around 96 to 97,000. The bulls couldn't even get up to that very, what I would have considered an easy level to get to, because we did have a daily buy signal here not that long ago. This was some key resistance that I thought would be in play here. If you do have my indicator that all of my VIP traders get, we had a big order block or a level of high amounts of selling that was going to happen here at 96.5, but the bulls couldn't even make it there. However, I want to be very clear here because we're talking about levels that are key. Not only do we need to get above this bullish trend line, or sorry, this bearish trend line at the moment. It was bullish and we turned it bearish here more recently. We need to see a higher high on Bitcoin for the first time in quite some time. One of our pro traders over in our VIP trading group, he's an Elliott Wave guru. He loves talking Elliott Wave. And no matter how you want to cut it, it's very clear that Bitcoin has been putting in these lower highs this entire time. The most recent lower high was back here on December 10th, right at 94,500, 600, give or take. I like to say we need to get to 95 to break that, but this is going to be very important to break. It's nice. It's very nice that after putting this low in here on 80,500, we have put in a higher low with this big dip. But unless we make a move above 94,000, 95,000, let's go ahead and call it 95,000. Unless we make a move over there, unless we break through this resistance sitting right there, we are doomed to have another lower low come in. And I still have targets back down to April lows, back down here at 74,500. Do I know 100% where Bitcoin is going? No, nobody knows 100% where it's going. But I can tell you right now that we are in a danger zone, that we need to get a bullish breakout to the upside if we're going to see this be a bullish rally once again. Otherwise, that 74,500 is in danger of being hit in the next couple of weeks. Now, I do have some good news. Again, I'm going to go through in this show. I'm going to talk about some good things happening. I'm going to talk about some bad things happening. But the good news is right now, there is some hope when it comes towards our daily and weekly timeframes. We've been tracking this for a while. Like I told you, we did have a daily buy signal back here when we were down closer to 80,000. It does look on our oscillators right now that we might be close to getting another one here very, very soon. In fact, sometime this week. Could this end up being the Santa rally? Well, we need it to happen. We need Santa to come, and maybe Santa come a little bit early, maybe before the 25th, and start this upward trajectory once again. What's better, though, I love daily buy signals, and daily buy signals, almost all of them give me positive momentum. They don't all give me new highs, but they almost always give me positive momentum. Weekly buy signals, on the other hand, ladies and gentlemen, up to this point during this cycle, have given us big, big movements and all-time highs. We had a weekly buy signal back here in April of 25. Bitcoin would go to new all-time highs. Before that, the previous buy signal was in September of 2024. Before that, September of 2023. All three of these key buy signals from our oscillators gave us new highs for Bitcoin. And when you look right now, you might not understand this. If you're brand new to my channel, if you're brand new to crypto in general, maybe you're sitting here saying, Tim, I don't know what you're talking about, these buy signals. For now, just trust me. If you want to learn more about them, this is one of my favorite ways to trade. It's been amazing for our community in trading this way. But when we get reversal signals, especially this green triangle down here, this green triangle is associated with major bottom positions in the past. When we get an upward trajectory in money flow, which this looks like it's curving that way, and we have a bullish divergence, and it looks like the oscillator wants to move back to the upside, when these three things happen, buy signals flash. And right now, it's not just Bitcoin we're seeing this get close to. This is the Ethereum chart. Arguably, you actually might be able to say the Ethereum weekly buy signal has actually flashed. Chainlink has just flashed here over the last couple of days. Solana is on the verge of flashing itself. It's not official yet. There's a lot that could go wrong here. We need to see how this week plays out. But right now, while we are currently trending to the downside, when you look at a lower time frame, say like the 4-hour chart, right? We had that very clean rejection I mentioned on that trend line. Those longer time frames are beginning to give just a little bit of hope, just a little bit of reason to say, you know what? These things might be about to turn around as we get into 2026. Of course, we only have about a week and some change left in the year 2025, but there's still hope on the horizon. But I want to get in here and I want to talk about really two things that are keeping me from going full out bearish or bullish, excuse me. I already told you the trend line's in play here. I already told you we're technically still in a bear trend with lower highs and lower lows. I need to see that trend change, but there's some other charts that are still concerning to me. The first one I want to go over, and this is good news for some people, it's just bad news for the crypto markets when it comes to today. Gold last night / this morning went and hit a brand new all-time high again. Gold here has just peaked back up here at $4,443 per ounce. Now it's back down to 44.38. But this is a little bit of an issue for Bitcoin. Unless Bitcoin starts being treated like what we call it digital gold, gold and Bitcoin rarely get pumps at similar timing. So is this simply a slightly higher high on gold? Maybe we'll get some form of a bearish divergence. You can kind of see one developing there on the daily chart where the oscillators are a little bit lower, but the price action is a little higher. I would like to see it happen on the weekly chart. And like I said, we are sitting in a good spot, not on the MACD, on the RSI and on the flow signals indicator. We're in a good spot to potentially get some bearish divergence. But to get bearish divergence, you have to have a pretty decent sized bearish candle on gold. And gold's not doing that. Gold is flying off the shelves right now. When you look at the history of time periods of gold having big rallies, let me show you some dates here in case you're newer. Gold broke out of a symmetrical triangle pattern right here in the data on August of 2025, right before, of course, we get into September, October. What was Bitcoin doing during this time that gold decided to go ahead and start heading towards a new all-time high? Bitcoin at the same time was slowing down, put in a slightly higher high in October, but ultimately would start to tail off. Bitcoin was rallying between April and August. What was gold doing between April and August? It was trading sideways in the symmetrical triangle. I'm going to pause right there. I'm not going to keep going back. But when you study the history of gold, big movements, and Bitcoin, big movements, more often than not, you will find that gold, when it's rallying, Bitcoin is either stagnant or trading downwards. When gold is stagnant, Bitcoin is trending upwards. So this is a little concerning when you take a look at the fact that gold is rallying once again. Sure, we're in a zone where we could see bearish divergence. Gold could be about to, keel over and start to peel back to the downside. That is a possibility. But until we see any types of bearish candles, you don't want to make that call too early. This is not necessarily a great look for Bitcoin, at least in the short term. The other chart that's not necessarily a great look is this one right here. This is the Japan government bonds 10-year yield. It is rallying once again. This is one of those big things that people have been talking about. The Japanese carry trade could lead to an unwinding that causes people to sell off risk on assets like Bitcoin, like altcoins, things in the crypto space, and they go to pay off the Japanese loans that they've made. This is not a good chart, right? This chart historically, this chart really should be tied to the inverse of Bitcoin and crypto. And as it's rallying, people are afraid this could lead towards a massive crypto dump. Now, I say that because that's what you're learning on the internet. I will say this chart has been trending upward for quite some time. As much as people are going to say this is a really bad chart, and it's not necessarily a good chart, I don't think necessarily this is a bullish thing for Bitcoin. This chart's been trending up for quite some time, right? Especially all the way back since July of 21. You can see that technically, while you understand the logic of more people going into the Japanese bonds of the 10-year yield, you understand why logically this wouldn't be good for Bitcoin or crypto. Historically, it actually doesn't necessarily have too big of a direct factor to Bitcoin. But it is something still worth noting, keeping an eye on. I think it's going to be more important to watch this one. This is the Japanese strength versus the US dollar. The reason crypto's been able to rally here in the last couple of days, last couple of weeks, actually, since that low, is because this Japanese yen versus the US dollar is dropping. But if it starts to get some form of bounce, this to me would be the issue. If the Japanese yen starts to pick up value and starts to go higher against the US dollar, that is going to be the big issue for Bitcoin and crypto. And even though we're falling down right now, you are getting back down towards levels of support that you could start to see people go back long on the Japanese yen. So those are the things I'm watching right now that are keeping me in a relatively, neutral zone and potentially open to a new low coming for Bitcoin. But let's flip. let's flip into potentially the reasons to be optimistic still at this point about what crypto is doing. I already showed you there's weekly buy signals that either have flashed on certain altcoins or are dangerously close to flashing on Bitcoin and other cryptos. And those buy signals have historically been moves for the crypto markets. By the way, even in bear markets, they're very good. But we got some decent news here coming out for the next couple of weeks from some institutions. First of all, JP Morgan. I don't like JP Morgan. They are manipulators. They are crazy, but this is news that you need to be aware of, and it technically will have long-term bullish effects. Whether it's short-term or not, it's long-term bullish. JP Morgan is considering offering crypto trading for institutional clients. Very big distinction here because, of course, JP Morgan has regular retail clients. If you're banked with JP Morgan, you understand that. They also serve institutional clients. They serve institutions that invest via the central banking system, and they're looking into potentially offering crypto to those clients. This comes after the OCC issued guidance saying that the U.S. banks may step into the role of intermediaries of crypto earlier in December. So JP Morgan, some of you remember, big manipulation move. They fudded MicroStrategies. They sold it for sure. There's rumors or allegations they shorted it. But at the bottom, it's actually kind of funny, the timing of this. When Bitcoin was up here, let's go to the daily chart so we can get a better understanding of this. When Bitcoin was up here, JP Morgan started selling MicroStrategy and allegedly, is the key word here, began to issue shorts. This, of course, drove some fear, some FUD. This is part of the reason why, along with Japanese carry trade, Bitcoin would start to pull back. What's really funny is the news event, the rumors of this really started coming out right there at the bottom. And then if we came back up here to 94,000, now the rumors came out, they're going to start offering, JP Morgan's going to start offering crypto to their clients themselves. It has been a whirlwind with JP Morgan with bullish, bearish news here. What I'll tell you is, despite the chaos, JP Morgan is making moves because whether we come down to 74, whether we go all the way to 60K, they are anticipating a very big move to the upside in the near future. So don't take this news and go run right now and put a mortgage on your house, second, third, fourth, fifth mortgage, and go all in on Bitcoin because of this news. But it is something to look into. JP Morgan clearly was involved with manipulation because they wanted to buy cheaper Bitcoin and crypto. And now we're starting to see some of the reasons why they wanted to do that. Another good news that you should know about, specifically when it comes to Ethereum here, is that whales are buying. Bitmine, now this is the company very similar to MicroStrategy that buys Ethereum, and they're like MicroStrategy in the sense that they buy Ethereum and get people to invest so they can kind of create a similar security type system with Ethereum. They added nearly 99,000 Ethereum over the past week, lifting the total holdings to 4.07 million Ethereum, which is 3.3% of the total supply combined crypto cash holdings of 13.2 billion. Again, anytime a whale or somebody who has a lot of money invest, you want to be aware of it. I will say, I always like to throw these caveats in here and make sure I'm explaining this to people very well. In the same way, this story is bullish on the surface, but there's deeper things with JP Morgan. This story is bullish on the surface. I always love a good whale buying Ethereum, but I would rather them buy it than sell it if I'm looking for price to go up. But we do know that Tom Lee and Bitmine have been bullish during periods of times, and they tell people to buy, and then things go to the downside. I don't think it's because they're manipulating price action. I think this one is just Bitmine and Tom Lee have not been very good at pricing in the bottom. So again, take this information, take this news for what it's worth. It's bullish on the surface. I still think it has long-term bullish ripple effects, but by no means means that the bottom is in, that Bitcoin and Ethereum and the crypto space are about to have massive rallies to the upside. It's a little too soon for that. I'll tell you this, we actually did this in our VIP trading group even today. We shorted this. I've been telling you guys this show, we hit this key resistance. In fact, when we planned the show and the title and everything, the price of Bitcoin was a little closer up here towards $90,000. Doesn't matter. We entered shorts in here earlier today. You can actually see here, this was our short we just had in our VIP trading group this morning. We've already hit our second take profit. We are locked in profits. The only thing that hurt us now that we've moved our stop loss down to break even is if we shoot back up here, we won't make all the profits we could have made if Bitcoin goes all the way down towards targets down here towards $86,000. If you want to trade with us, if you want to learn about these trades and get in them early and not just wait for my 3 o'clock videos that are coming out every single day, There's two ways to get in there. Number one, you can join the VIP trading group, get my free indicator. That was the key target of why we entered this trade. Remember I told you about that sell signal on the oscillator? Right there is the reason we went short this morning. But I'll give you a better way. If you go into the description right now, right, so you're watching this video, go into the description and click on this link tree right here, right? If you click that link, you will open up our link tree. The second one down here is Toobit. Now, Toobit is an exchange where predominantly we are trading crypto. We can trade crypto futures. That's what I use it for 95% of the time. But when you go in here, there's also opportunities not just to trade your favorite cryptos. You can trade stocks. You can trade Tether Gold. You can trade a lot of things over here in Toobit. And when you deposit $100 or more, and send proof of that to this email right here, exchange.info@timwarrentrading.com, you will get into our live trading sessions where you can watch what I'm trading, why I'm trading it, and learn more about my thoughts on the markets throughout the day. You also, if you deposit $500 or more, can enter for a monthly giveaway. We're going to be doing a giveaway not tomorrow, Tuesday, I believe. Tuesday or Wednesday. Don't quote me on this one. We're doing a $500 giveaway next week. Anyone who has our Toobit link, who signed up for Toobit and deposited $500 or more, you will be entered to win $500. By the way, another good reason to get Toobit, you get our VIP level 1 fees when you use our link in the description down below. So go check that out. Go check out that link tree and start trading with us today. Guys, we're going to get into some Q&A here. It's 3:21. That is all the content that I had planned. There's some bullish things, but there's some bearish things right now. And it's just a little too early to start beating our chest and declaring a new high is coming, because the reality is right now there's still a lot of chaos going in the markets. You can cry about that chaos. You can fuss about it. You can walk away. I understand if you want to walk away. Or you can stick around, keep watching channels like this and several other crypto YouTube content creators that are doing a great job covering this. You can make money in the chaos. You can learn how to short when it's right to short, long when it's time to long. We teach all that in our VIP trading group. So check it out there. But I will on Mondays. I told you guys, we're doing videos, posted videos, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, sometimes Saturdays. We'll be live every single Monday, and I'll always save at least 10 minutes for some Q&A with you guys. So let's get into chat here. Let's go see what's going on, and I'll do the best I can to answer any and all of your questions. Iceman, 5% Santa rally, 20% crash. That does feel, Iceman, like what is happening right now. Again, we had that nice little surge this morning, but it's already kind of, I was kind of anticipating, thinking maybe today we'd have a little more drama. I didn't know we'd fall out this fast. We're still holding on support. If you go back to my chart here, it's not like Bitcoin. I wouldn't call what Bitcoin's doing right now ridiculously bearish, right? We're just back down to the support levels we kind of wrestled with all weekend. I don't know if anyone else tried to trade Bitcoin over the weekend. It was extremely boring. I took a couple of swings at it, broke even, I think 2 or 3 times, finally just gave up and said, I'm waiting for Monday. Did not get in the long, right? I did not catch this long, but we were able to catch the top and short it down this morning. So we're back at support level. It's going to be very important to see what happens next here, but Santa rally, you can cross your fingers, you can hope for it. I'm not necessarily sure it's going to happen necessarily. Let's see what else we have in the way of questions here today. Felix is in chat. Always love to have Felix here. He says Bitcoin will never hit those stupid low prices, so I'm holding my long on Bitcoin. Felix, by the way, just so you know, you can go on my screen here, Smay. I understand. I understand why you're holding on. I am holding on to my long positions in terms of my long-term holds. I did, and again, I'm not going to talk about what they are. I did actually put 2 low-risk, ridiculously high-reward trades in to our VIP chat today. So if you're in the VIP chat, don't tell anyone what it is. That's for you guys. I put it there for you guys. If you want to join VIP, even if you just join Toobit, you get access to it. I am a little bit hedging right now. I'm not ready to declare the bottom is in, but I think the bottom could be in. So what I did was I put a very, very, like I said, low risk, meaning if it does not work out, you will lose very little money. High reward. If I'm right, and if these signals do play out correctly, you're going to make a whole heck of a lot of money. All of that is happening right now in the VIP trading group. So I am in a place right now where I'm defensive, where I'm not ready to declare the bottom is in, but I am looking at those weekly buy signals saying it's possible. And it really depends on, can we break the key levels that I talked about earlier in today's live show? But I understand your frustration, Felix, but I think you've told me a couple times now, we can't go lower, and then we just keep going lower. So until I see a good reason to say the bottom's in, I'm going to continue to hold to it. Mikhail, I see, Tim, you're flexing the silver chain after it hit all-time highs. Silver just lives in all-time highs. Let's go over to my screen here and take a look at silver. Let's go to a longer time frame. When you look at like a 1 hour chart on silver, it's kind of choppy, kind of an ugly looking chart. On the daily chart, you guys can see here today, it did come up here above 60 or hit $69, depending on what you're looking at here. The big news was gold, right? Silver, as I said, has been just shooting up. There's a supply shock with silver. I said something the other day that made some people upset with me, and I'm going to stick to it though. I told you guys I did not say the silver top was in. I also didn't say I think the gold top's in. Even though at the time I made the video, it wasn't back to new all-time highs. I said there's a chance that gold goes to new all-time high. The point of my video though, and some people watched it, it did not get the most views, mostly because I think people are so used to us talking mostly just crypto here. It's a shock when we start talking about other topics. I told you guys about palladium. I said, watch out for palladium, not a diss to gold or silver, but palladium might be a better play. And sure enough, palladium has ripped off here today, getting up over 1,800. Why did I say palladium? In case you did not watch my video, I put this out on. I'll just tell you really quickly. Gold smashed all-time highs. When you go back to highs we had back in 2020 and 2022, gold is significantly higher. Right? Gold is in what we call right now price discovery mode, where we can come up with levels to keep an eye on. But ultimately, we've never been here before. No one's traded gold at these levels. Price discovery mode is a little interesting to deal with when it comes to analysis. Same with silver. Silver is a little bit better than gold in the sense of it had to kind of get up here and get above 46.90 to beat the highs from back in 2011. It had to get up above $29 to beat the highs of 2020. But you can see silver is also at an all-time high. Had to work a little more to get up there, more so than gold, but it's up there in price discovery mode once again. Palladium is not. Palladium, when you go back to the highs of 2022, got all the way up to 3,400. What's funny is the big surge of silver here more recently started on the same time as palladium. Palladium was just significantly lower. It's nowhere close to price discovery mode. So I told you guys, I thought that palladium was a better investment than gold or silver. I would stick to that today. I'm not saying that gold is not going to go up. I'm not saying silver will not go up. As long as we have these concerns from the Japanese yen and the Japanese carry trade worries, people are going to flood into things like gold and silver and palladium to get away from fiat currency. I think someday it will go back into crypto. I think someday soon it will go back into crypto. But for now, the metals are king. I just think if you had to choose one of the three of them, you can choose all three of them. If you had to choose one of them, though, palladium would be my choice. And since that video has come out, if you had put $10 in all three of them, the palladium buy would have made you the most increase over the last couple of days. So, yeah, silver hit new all-time high, gold hit new all-time high. Palladium, long way to go to hit new all-time high. That's why I'm bullish on it. If you're wondering what this resistance level is, I plan to take a little bit of profit right there. Why? Just because anytime you hit a major resistance level, in this case, a golden pocket, I'm just going to take a little bit off right there. I would love to see a small correction. I don't think we're going to make it all the way back down to this support level, right? So I'll have to do some more analysis, look for a pullback to buy in so we make that move to all-time highs. But there we go. That's some palladium TA for you guys here. What else do we have here? Man, trying to find a good question. We got like 2 more minutes here, and then we're going to call it a day. Huh. Let me get a drink while I'm looking here. Douglas. It's not a lot of questions, a lot of chat engagement here. I always look forward to these live events. What are your thoughts on the Knight story? So if anyone's wondering, maybe you're watching this and you have no idea what Knight story is, I just said, by the way, dollar symbol Knight. That's a ticker he's talking about there. This is the new project that just came out being built by the Cardano team. I have not sold and given up completely on Cardano. And one of the biggest reasons why is because of Knight. If Knight wasn't a thing, I think Cardano would be in major trouble. In fact, some of you guys know I'm not full out bearish on a lot of coins, right? There's a lot of coins I don't hold. There's a lot of coins I'm like, I don't plan on ever holding again. But I'm not like, oh, this thing is going to zero. This will never make it. One coin I feel that way about is Polkadot. Okay. I'm not feeling Polkadot levels for Cardano just yet. I think there's still hope for Cardano. I'm frustrated with Cardano. I think anyone in this chat who says that they're not frustrated with Cardano is lying to themselves and you, because Cardano has been extremely frustrating. In fact, I don't know why I'm doing this and not taking a look at a Cardano chart. Give me just 1 second. Let's take a look there. Go ahead and go to my screen here. Very frustrating looking chart. Back down to these lows where I did a lot of accumulating back here in October 24. I bought a lot of Cardano back here at 30 to 33 cents. We're about to be back where we were. Not every altcoin's like that. Cardano just hasn't seemed to catch any type of big news. It turns out even the great news about Cardano we got earlier, that the government said, oh, this is a coin we're considering putting into our reserve. I was like, whew. If Cardano makes the reserve, that's big boy moves. Then we found out later, no, the tweet that went out from the president was just him quoting or saying the top 5 market cap coins that would fit his definition of what's doable. And so by default, Cardano made it in. I don't know if there's any major moves for Cardano to have a big institutional or government relationship to drive it to crazy new all-time highs, the way I think some other altcoins like Chainlink and like Solana and Ethereum can do. But midnight is an interesting feature that will allow you to keep the high-tech decentralization that is Cardano, but give you privacy and security. I think that midnight would be the perfect use case for the government that needs to have a blockchain to put things on, but doesn't want everything public. I think it'd be great for like hospitals that have to protect your rights with your medical information, right? You couldn't just go take your medical information and put it on Solana or Bitcoin or Ethereum, where anybody could get into the blockchain and see all of your private information. Midnight would actually help solve for that. But here's the main thing. You could write a whole book about the benefits of Cardano and Midnight and how cool it is and why it should be used and who should use it. But if no one ends up using it, price will not go up. So I'm holding Cardano because I still have a little bit of hope / faith that Charles Hoskinson, I think, is one of the smartest blockchain technology guys in the game. I think he's one of the best creators in the game. I think he took his too long a time to do things that Solana figured out along the way. And unless they catch some sort of big relationship, it might be a long winter for Cardano. But Midnight's the last hope. That's my thoughts on Midnight. Look, took me a little bit to say it. But that's my thoughts on it. By the way, Cardano, another one of these coins, it's not official yet. Right? This isn't an official buy signal. So don't walk away from this saying, Tim just said Cardano got a weekly buy signal. It does have a green reversal dot. I wish that was a triangle, right? This triangle back here from July of 24, way better. Doesn't have a triangle, but it does look like the money flow is starting, and the keyword there is starting to turn over and go back up. It looks like the oscillator is about to print a green dot. And you take a look at the last couple of times this happened. We're looking right here, July of 25, Cardano breakout. You have right here, this wasn't anything major, but decent size move for Cardano. Big move back in here. Again, it took a little bit of time to drag on, but the bottom came in during this buy signal back in August 24. If you had held on for a couple more weeks, big move for Cardano. So these weekly buy signals, you don't want to ignore them. They have a tendency to be very bullish. Even in bear markets, like somebody asked me, Tim, do these buy signals work in bear markets? Well, if you go back here, we had a buy signal back here in February 2022. Didn't put in a higher high, but we did on Bitcoin have a nice rally of 45%. So that's something. When you get these weekly buy signals, it does not guarantee that the bottom is in. It does not guarantee we're in a bull market, but it does suggest things are extremely oversold and it's time for them to tick back to the upside. And it looks like we're very close to that coming in on almost every single cryptocurrency. Cardano is a snail. I'd get there. It'll get there someday, but we'll all probably be dead. Yeah. Again, I love Charles Hoskinson. I do think Cardano is a very, very, very good technology, but I'm not interested in investing in good technologies unless I think that good technology will make me money. And Cardano has not been doing that. H. Bardano says, I want to be like Tim when I grow up, big, strong, and have a beard. Go to the gym. I don't know how to get big. I think that's more genetics than anything. Go to the gym, you'll get big their way. And then just don't shave. That's my rule. If you want to grow a beard, just don't shave and just figure it out along the way. Guys, that's going to be it for our live show here today. As always, I appreciate you guys being here. Make sure on your way out, smash the like button. and subscribe to the channel. If you are worried about your crypto, if you're worried about your computer and your security, check out NordProtect. If you want to learn how to trade with me, do one of two things. Either just go straight to the VIP trading group, get the free indicator. I think it's more than worth it. Or just go sign up for Toobit, deposit $100 or more, submit that to the email, and you can see all of my trades for free right now. I'll see you guys over in the VIP trading group. Happy and Merry Christmas. I don't want to say happy. Merry Christmas, everybody. I will have a video coming out tomorrow and Friday, but this is the last time I'm live with you guys. So Merry Christmas. I'll